For every 4 male spectators, there are 3 female spectators. What fraction of the spectators are male? So someone going to go.
This isn't just any breakfast, it's a booster breakfast. One of the ideas that has helped Broad Oak Mathematics and Computing College in Weston-super-Mare achieve some remarkable GCSE results.
If I was doing this question, if I was asked to do this, Chris, what I would do is I would go back and I would think, well, OK, how would I add this together? So let me show you how we'd add it together, promise. We need to look for common denominators, don't we?
The students are getting last-minute revision tips for an exam that they're about to take in 1 hour's time. This happens before every exam. Today, it's GCSE Maths.
Square numbers. What's square numbers? Square numbers. Come on, somebody come out with a few square numbers. Simple marks, yeah.
64.
64 is a square number now.
The percentage of the college's students gaining 5 or more A* to C grades, including maths and English, has risen from 19% in 2003 to 49.4% in 2007. Even though the students' profile of attainment on entry is below the national norm.
Of 35,000. Now,
the equivalent math results alone have risen from 30% in 2003 to 50% in 2007.
This actual question did come from a calculator paper. How do I work out 4/7? What do? I work out 1/7 first. So to work out 1/7, that's the same as we divide by 7. So you just enter 35,000 in your calculator. You divide by 7, and then to get 4/7, that means multiply by 4. OK, so we just times by 4.
How does the college achieve such remarkable results? And what lessons can other schools learn from its approach? We spent a day at Broad Oak to find out. The success is a team effort, but the man behind it is Head of Maths, Rob Skeen.
3 main areas that we focused on are expectations of staff. Quite often if staff don't believe that students will achieve, well, they won't achieve. Revision and learning. Pupils need to look at how they can revise. We try and provide lots of extra opportunities for pupils to come in after school and during holidays. And of course, pupils' awareness of where they are. You know, what grade are they at? How do they improve? You know, and that's talking about good assessment for learning. You know, for pupils need to know how do they get to the next grade.
I want you to first of all just spend a few minutes looking through, finding the questions on trigonometry and trying to decide, try and make a decision about what sort of level question is it. Look at it and think about who you think it's aimed at. Right? Is it aimed at a grade C student? Are you expecting a grade B student to be able to do it? So you have a few minutes on this. A nice basic one, nice straightforward one. Look at the language that's used. Now look, this is nice, isn't it? Because we've got a right-angled triangle. Right? It's nice and straightforward. It says calculate the size of angle N. There's no debate about what you're being asked to do there, isn't it? You're not going to read anything else into it, right? So that's a nice sort of C/B stroke question.
That one's a C.
Yeah, that's C.
Do you want to be that one?
Yeah.
That one or the other one?
I don't know. Because that was messing around.
Yeah, because you've got the signs and stuff. Yeah.
You've got to do all the.
So that one will be a B.
Yeah.
Having established which questions relate to which grades, Rob gets the students to think about where they are.
Right, where are you at the moment? Are you C? Are you D? Are you grade B? Where do you think you are? Because what we're talking about here is for you, is knowledge of, first of all, going from grade D, how do we go from D to C? What things are we expected to be able to do to be able to get grade C to start off with?
The students create a slideware presentation showing a grade C question and answer. They'll use this as a reminder of the skills they need to achieve this grade. After lunch, Rob has a meeting with 3 of the faculty staff.
This is a report of last year's results in terms of how we did, successes.
Getting the students to understand where they are and how they can work to get better is a big part of the philosophy, but it doesn't stop there. As Rob has said, it's not just the expectations of students which make a difference, it's also the expectations of staff.
Staff expectations are important because if we don't believe that somebody's going to succeed, then they're not going to succeed. They've got absolutely no chance at all. This is the national picture at the moment. Basically, what this is telling us that in mathematics, if somebody's achieved level 5 at the end of Key Stage 3, then they've got a 23% of those pupils go on to get grade C. My belief is that anybody who achieves level 5 at Key Stage 3 is capable of achieving a C when they're doing their GCSEs. Now, we need to believe this. Pupils on the CD border, you need to have a good knowledge of those pupils. You need to know who they are, what motivates them, what's going to get them to improve. He won't do the revision, he won't put that little bit extra in. Right, so how are we going to get him involved? What are we going to get him to do at that stage?
I think he needs short-term targets to work towards.
Right.
It's like a particular type of question that he's struggling with, but he knows he can do it.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, what about his parents?
I think it's very important to keep them on side as well and keep them aware of how he's doing, both positively and negatively, so that if he's doing well in class, they can praise him at home as well. Because, I mean, this particular student, he does well on praise. He likes the praise.
Right, because if parents are on side, then they know how to help him, they can support him, and again, it's just an extra stage, it's an extra chance of us getting that C, and they're expecting that as well.
It's 3:15, the end of the school day. But quite a few students stay on to take advantage of the after-school activities offered by the maths faculty. The Revision Club is just one of these.
Yeah, you're interested in the lower value. Like
it would be n minus.
It should be n over 6, yeah.
Oh.
And that should boost your grade up to what? C. A.
Thank you.
A maybe. Probably A.
Okay.
Besides students helping each other, Rob is on hand to offer advice.
If I'm taking 2 centimetres out, right, what sizes is that going to give me? It's going to mean I'm 21. Yeah? So we start with 25. Because you're taking 2 lots away, aren't you? If you look at this, it's just good mathematics, that's all it is. It makes it easier to follow. Yeah? Rather than kind of jumping around a little bit. Yeah? Just have a bit of order. So what I've got here is the powers, this is order to the powers of x. 3, 2, and we could have a 1 there as well. All right? And then that then proceeds into this as well. All right? But you're okay with what happens after that? Yeah? Okay, great. Power of 2 and the power of 1. Right? Just to make life a little bit easier for ourselves. So, I always find it much easier if I do that. Oops. And in there. Without the brackets. And then we've reordered. Now we can differentiate. Right, try and differentiate that.
16x
3 and 4, 12.
Well, of course.
Yeah? I know you know what you're doing. That's it.
And then, do I just leave?
This is where you made the mistake before. There's a bit that you think about.
8 nx.
Oh yeah, 8nx, right, yeah. And then B is actually 8n there. 8n, yeah. And that's x is the coefficient of 8n. Right, okay. Got it.
Do the students find the Revision Club useful?
I can't concentrate at home as well as I do in school.
I do the homework and stuff. It's just like coursework. I can't find the time to like write up coursework at home. I just can't sit down and do it because there's just so much to write up. I just can't be bothered. So I find it easier coming back and doing it now.
A lot of the time, just sitting at home. If you can't get it, you come in and talk to someone else. You get it straight away.
As well as group work, there are one-to-one sessions.
What we have here is we have a workbook.
Nick is a maths ambassador. He's going to be working with a Year 7 student.
And, for instance, working through this exercise here, it's just being aware of what mistakes that they might make. We're asking them to draw some lines out. So it's making sure that they're using a ruler properly. The maths ambassadors are students in year 11. They get the opportunity of explaining, and if you asked any maths teacher, they would say actually when they started teaching, that's the point where they really started to understand what they were doing. So it's that coaching idea. And of course the year 7 students, they get a huge amount from that as well.
You've got to convert the following measurements into centimetres using fractions when needed. So what would 45 millimetres be as centimetres?
45.
Picture like a little point in the middle of the 4 and 5. What would that make it?
4.5.
Yeah, so it's 4.5 centimetres.
After they've helped some other students, then I would then do some coaching with them. So that's the sort of reward is they have some extra tuition just on a one-to-one basis. So again, it depends what their focus is at the time. It will depend on what we want to look at. Square number times something is 75. So what square numbers have we got? We've got 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. Can you pick one of those numbers that's a factor of 75?
25.
That's it. Right.
25 times 3.
Right, okay then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this. This is what you can do. Another little clever trick here. So square root of 75 is equal to the square root of 25 times the square root of 3. What's the square root of 25?
5.
Right. This is what
Parents and students are also offered revision sessions together.
20%, and then they take it away from the 80. All right? That's not right.
Because it would have been 20% of the original amount.
That's it.
And that isn't the original amount, that's the finished result.
The original amount you would have multiplied by, you know about that, don't you? Yeah, what would I multiply that by?
20% it would be
1.2, yeah. So I would have multiplied it by 1.2.
Would you divide it by 1.2?
Yeah.
Parents are encouraged to take an active interest in their children's education after Broad Oak.
If you look in your brochure here, you'll see a list of contributors.
At the AIM Higher Evening, they can consider the different courses on offer.
We need to look at Film College, we need to look at City of Bristol College. Do they offer what you want to do?
And what do parents think of Broad Oak?
Dan joined Year 7. It was a school that was just starting to pick up, and now it's all you hear people wanting is Broad Oak School, for its maths and for other subjects too.
We pulled her up from nowhere to where she is now, and if it wasn't for this school, she wouldn't be looking at veterinary nursing for a career.
What about those students sitting their GCSE maths today? How did they get on?
I thought it would be harder than that, but it was quite easy. I done really well actually. I only didn't answer one question.
Yeah, I did alright. Proud of myself.